are WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights. WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500.
Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm a pharmacist and the publisher of AmericanSeniorGazette.org. It has been wisely said, you cannot help getting older, but you can help getting old. It has also been said that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. My purpose in doing the show is so that seniors and caregivers can share their ideas and questions on how we can age gracefully and in a vertical position for as long as our good genes will allow. And if we've inherited bad genes, how to outwit them. Our topics include senior housing, financial, legal, safety, travel, health issues, interesting senior events in the community, and most of all, tips on how to put old on hold. When it's time to move, don't trust all your memories and most prized possessions to just some guys with a truck. Get personalized first-class treatment from bonded and experienced moving professionals. If you are confused about all the details involved in moving from one household to another, call 1-888-489-8980. Is always the concern of who should I call about the utilities? How shall I handle my household appliances? What should I do about my pets? What do I need to handle in advance of the move? For a free brochure titled Practical Hints to Make Moving Day Easier, call Aberdeen Van Lines at 1-888-489-8980. We can even help you in selling your home or any furniture that you may no longer wish for your next move. Let Aberdeen help make your move a dream. So call 1-888-489-8980 now.
If you need a helping hand to stay at home, or maybe you'd like somebody to provide transportation or grocery shopping or run errands for you, or maybe you're going to need help with bathing or personal grooming, or you need home renovations to enable you to stay in that home safely and securely. Or maybe you can't leave your home, but you need somebody to come in and do things like a doctor, a nurse, a podiatrist, a dentist, or to have your prescriptions delivered to you. Well, House Calls on Wheels is the answer to all of that. House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. And all the medical services are covered by insurance. The non-medical services start as low as $10 an hour. So if you or someone you know needs a helping hand at home, call House Calls on Wheels for a free in-home consultation. And that toll-free number is 1-888-489-8980. All right? That's 1-888-489-8980.
And welcome to Michigan weather, sliding Michigan weather. We are living up to our reputation of winter wonderland. And as long as you go slow, it's not so bad at all. I am a pharmacist, in our field, in our profession. You are always recommending to your patients to start low and go slow, and that actually helps you through life and through the healthcare field and all. And the sad part about it is that unfortunately people are always running a little bit behind the time that they have allotted. And this is maybe way out in life, but if you want to reduce stress, one of the best ways to do it is just to take a breather and slow down a bit. A brand new year, why not make that a resolution? And also make a resolution to try to work with people that are out for good causes. To me, it's unfortunate of what our country has come to. As our government is closed up over petty stuff. I was going to try to get to our president and also to Nancy Pelosi and just ask her and give the advice, why don't you act as an adult? Or better yet, would your mother be proud to know what you're doing now? The sad part is that we have high school mentality operating in our government, and not only in our country, but in other parts of the country. But one thing that we can do something about is our president calls it fake news, and ironically enough, if it weren't for his style, everything in regards to misrepresentation of things in life are true. Somehow we should take a look in reality and do something positive. I'm a proud member of the Michigan Jewish Action Committee, and obviously we're interested in getting the truth out. And unfortunately, everything has become politicized, including anti-Semitism. And I am so excited about having Rabbi Yaakov Menken on, who is the managing director for the Coalition for Jewish Values. It's the largest rabbinic public policy organization in America. Yes, the rabbis are now involved in helping clear up some of the misconceptions. And I'm really excited about telling you, and please join me on February the 4th, Monday, at 7 o'clock at my synagogue. And we have a beautiful synagogue, and maybe if you arrive a little early, you'll get a brief tour. The Dat Shalom Synagogue is located at 29901 Middle Belt. Again, Dat Shalom Synagogue, 29901 Middle Belt, which is just north of 13 Mile Road in Farmington Hills. And Rabbi Menken will be talking about the politicization of anti-Semitism. And if you don't feel there is politics and what's going on, I think you've been in a cave somewhere. And I'd like to get you out of that cave. And if you come, join me at 7 o'clock to hear Rabbi Menken. And Rabbi Menken is on the line with me right now. So hello, Rabbi Menken.
Hello, and thank you so much, Ike, for having me on your show.
Yes, sir. And for those people that don't know what your organization is all about and a little bit about yourself, why don't you share that with us?
I'll start from the beginning. In February of 2017, there was an email between a group of rabbis who were very dismayed at what people were saying in the name of Judaism and the Jewish
people. Move now to the bright side of aging.
Are we okay?
Well, there's a little tech flaw, but yes, I think we're okay now.
I actually have a computer degree, so I know all about technical failures.
Well, we need you right here, right now.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I can't run a radio soundboard, but
yes.
Anyway, so as a result of that email thread of people's dismay, the rabbis' dismay, I was the one who was silly enough to say we need to form a group And I said, call it Jewish Values Coalition or something like that. And next thing you know, Coalition for Jewish Values is up and running, and they put me in as managing director. Rabbi Pesach Lerner is our president. Now, he, for decades, was the executive vice president of the National Council of Young Israel. So he has a long career in public service and very well known. And he was advocating for the case of Jonathan Pollard when nobody else knew who he was or really was advocating for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really the fact that Jonathan is now on house arrest, more or less, is largely thanks to Rabbi Lerner's efforts to finally get him released. And so we have Rabbi Lerner, we have many others who are, we have a board, as it were, of rabbis from across the country and from across both throughout the Orthodox world, I would say, modern Orthodox to Haredi Orthodox, whatever, ultra-Orthodox, whatever you want to call it, and representing what traditional values are and trying to apply them to public policy today. When we look at a president who has, well, first of all, he has a Jewish daughter and a Jewish son-in-law and Jewish grandchildren. And he has surrounded himself with clearly observant Jews like David Friedman and Jason Dove Greenblatt, in addition to, of course, his son-in-law, who's one of his major advisors. When you see that he has not only consistently condemned bigotry, hatred, anti-Semitism in all its forms, but specifically has pushed back against support of terrorism against the Jewish people, whether here or, more especially, in Israel, and moved the embassy saying this is the right thing to do, it's time to recognize the Jewish claim to Jerusalem. And he honestly, at the Hanukkah reception, when there was a group of 8 Holocaust survivors with him, he said, I did it for you. He actually said that the reason why he moved the embassy was he was thinking about all the terrible things that have been done to Jews throughout history, and he wanted to say, Jerusalem is your home, and we know that. And that's not a president who's an anti-Semite. And the things that have been said about him are truly outrageous. And then, of course, that's only one of the issues. There's all sorts of situations here where today we are told that moral values require that we abandon what the Jewish Bible has told us to do. And that's really not the way we are. That's not who we are as a people. And even if someone does not agree with all the positions that Coalition for Jewish Values is taking, at the very least we are rebutting this message that in the name of quote-unquote tikkun olam, fixing the world, that we should adopt the ultra-left agenda and destroy a lot of America's founding values in the process.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, the big issue, of course, is the wall, and I cannot believe how many people are on that real left-wing fringe that want to prevent safety for the people that are actually their friends and family. This is not some bizarre scheme, and I'm addicted to radio listening, and I hear some of these really ultra leftists saying that the wall doesn't work. Oh yeah? How about right in Israel? If it weren't for that wall, the terrorist attacks have been really cut almost, I've heard as high as 90%. So it works. And I find it fascinating how bizarre some people think in terms of what they value as moral. Is it okay to destroy statues that of our history that happened? You can't change that. That they tear down. A wall to help secure our country is somehow immoral. What's immoral is you don't pretend like things in the past that were there you admit to, so you learn from mistakes. Isn't that what we're supposed to do in life?
It's very, very true. And I should say that we try to stick to our values and our ideology. There's actually a congressman from the state of Kentucky who's very conservative, and yet he has an ultra-green, off-the-grid house, totally powered by solar power and with reserve Tesla batteries. And one of the first things he did when he went to Congress was go talk to a left-wing congressman in a Californian about Tesla and about encouraging green power usage. And people said, isn't that amazing? He said, look, he learned the difference between a partisan and an ideologue. A partisan is one who looks at who is proposing an idea and then decides whether to support it. An ideologue is a person who looks at the idea and then decides whether to support it. And that's a key difference. He said when he first went to Congress, he thought they were the same thing, partisan, ideologue. He hears them both being tossed around as a pejorative. And then he said, I'm not a partisan. I'm an ideologue. I care about the idea. Well, we are the ultimate, of course, about caring for what our ideals are. And I find it amazing in this whole discussion of the wall that Trump is being called a racist for saying the very same words, practically, that Bill Clinton and even Barack Obama used in their terms to bipartisan applause about the need to stop crime at the border, about the need to fund for building and better defenses at the border to prevent people from coming in illegally, the child trafficking and the drugs and the crime and the people who are coming over. These are all things where common sense dictates that you want this done in a legal way, in a correct way. Of course that's moral. Of course that's decent. But you have to understand that there are people out there in the world who hate our values. And if you completely open the border and invite them in, it is going to lead to trouble.
Right. Well,
and this is, that I wouldn't even call that, that again, that's not our core issue. And I want to be clear. As of today, after nearly 2 years in existence, we have only praised ever one major political organization, and that's the Democratic National Committee, because they dropped their sponsorship of the Women's March. That was something very commendable. That was something that was an excellent statement when Tamika Mallory refused to condemn the anti-Semitic bigotry of Louis Farrakhan. The DNC pulled their support from the Women's March. And I think that's a huge positive statement. And we are very proud to commend them. And that's the point. A partisan organization would never commend them. I'm saying where we get billed as conservative, we get to be, targeted as if we're conservative. But the truth is that the values that we support are the same thing that we Jews supported as Jews 60 years ago, 160 years ago, 1,060 years ago.
And the Christian community, you have really, we're fortunate that we have a lot of strong advocates who believe in the same thing. We're talking about really being sensitive about how you don't destroy other people. I find it rather interesting that we're spending so much time and trying to take away upsetting young people, whatever sex they are, and in a way to let them decide. There are certain things in life that are much more important than trying to worry about these petty type things. And here, whenever any hate speech is done, in whatever situation, it should be drummed out before it even gets any traction. I'd like to take a break, Rabbi. When we come back, if you could give some of the highlights of the talk that you'll be giving on Monday, February the 4th, on the politicization of anti-Semitism at Adat Shalom, which is going to be actually on Monday, February the 4th, at 7 p.m., north of 13 Mile at 29901 Millveld. We'll take a brief break, and we'll be right back, Rabbi. When it's time to move, don't trust all your memories and most prized possessions to just some guys with a truck. Get personalized first-class treatment from bonded and experienced moving professionals. If you're confused about all the details involved in moving from one household to another, call 1-888-489-8980. Is always the concern of who should I call about the utilities? How shall I handle my household appliances? What should I do about my pets? What do I need to handle in advance of the move? For a free brochure titled Practical Hints to Make Moving Day Easier, call Aberdeen Van Lines at 1-888-489-8980. We can even help you in selling your home or any furniture that you may no longer wish for your next move. Let Aberdeen help make your move a dream. So call 1-888-489-8980 now. I'm pleased to announce that I've teamed up with Leeway Foundation, which is a non-profit organization devoted to helping the whole system of growing churches through health education as well as prayer, as well as helping dozens of physical, spiritual needs for members that cannot attend the church. I like to title it A Church Without Walls. For a nominal fee per month, we now can help you reach out to your members by way of the app. We've customized this mobile app for small churches to form a partnership with a project named God's Warehouses. Now is the time to act if you want your church to grow in membership and increase church revenue. Please call 1-888-489-8980. Again, if you would like to have your church become larger and more self-sufficient, call 888-489-8980 for details. And welcome back, and that number 888-489-8980 is great to always stay in touch, because Rabbi Menken will be speaking on February the 3rd. Yes, we're going to be competing on that particular time with the Super Bowl, but for those of you who are more interested in actually hearing about the politicization of anti-Semitism, you'll have two opportunities. Sunday at 6 o'clock, or Monday is 7 p.m., Sunday is 6 p.m. If you'd like more information, call us on our toll-free number. To make a reservation, you're welcome to do that as well on that number. And Rabbi Menken, before we took our break, you were actually telling us some of the things that we should, as private citizens, be concerned about. Can you share with us some of the highlights of your talk that you give?
Sure, and I want to clarify that actually the first of the talks is going to be a little bit more fun, more entertaining. You know, politicization of anti-Semitism is obviously not a very fun topic. It's an extremely important topic.
Right.
But on Sunday night, what I'll be trying to do is talking about, we're calling it Tales from the Hill, which is about, spending 2 years becoming known and accomplishing things in the halls of Congress, and just some stories that came out of our activities thus far. So, and I think that'll be an extremely interesting talk, and, there's a lot of people out there who are really just not that interested in football. And they're looking for something else to do on that evening while all their friends are glued to the set. Well, come on out and hear Tales from the Hill. We'll talk about the kind of things that we've been doing, some great stories of interactions. And, you were talking about our Christian friends. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because it's really impressive what an impact we've been able to have in such a short amount of time, and really as a startup organization. So that first talk is going to be at 6 o'clock on Super Bowl Sunday, the February the 3rd. The location is still being finalized by the Michigan Jewish Action Council, but if you go to mjac.us, I am told that information is going to be posted.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get information about either of my talks on Sunday or on Monday, mjac.us is the place to go.
Okay, wow, very good. I'll do that.
So, but to talk about a little bit about the topic and about the type of politicization, let me give you an example. A year before I was involved in the creation of the Coalition for Jewish Values, I spent that previous year as a fellow of the Amud Eish Memorial Museum in New York. Amud Eish is the one Holocaust memorial museum that actually tries to contextualize the Holocaust in a long history of anti-Jewish hatred. People don't recognize that the Holocaust, unfortunately, was not the aberration, blip in history that people portray it as. It was an extreme manifestation of a millennium of European hatred towards Jews, which was manifested. If I were to ask you, how many times do you think Jews were excluded, expelled, thrown from their homes in various districts, regions, dukedoms, fiefdoms, and entire countries in European history over the last millennium? Would you care to hazard a guess?
No.
It's over 100 times. Over 100 times. And we think about the Spanish expulsion, the Portuguese expulsion, and by the way, according to at least one economic study, it caused permanent economic damage. Everybody knows that Jews are into banking and all of that. It was very harmful to countries to throw out, and yet they kept doing it. And of course, it was very harmful to Germany, and yet they kept doing it. And we see, so I started to study anti-Semitism. And it wasn't long before I was offered a book, which was actually written by the person who now is the head of the Amud Eish Memorial Museum, where he translated a work of Rabbi Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, known as the Nitziv, who was perhaps the preeminent rabbinic scholar in all of Europe at the day. He was the head of the Volozhin Yeshiva, the famed Volozhin Yeshiva. And partly due to anti-Semitism, unfortunately, that yeshiva closed during his lifetime. And he wrote a book on anti-Semitism and where it comes from. He said there's two basic things to look out for. Number one is the idea that the Jews are stealing, that everything they've acquired is fraud and deceit. That somehow any Jewish property is ill-gotten gain. And then number two fundamental is, well, hey, wait a second. These Jews have a Bible that says, thou shalt not steal. How could it be that the answer to that is that the Jews are supremacists who really only care about other Jews. The secret Jewish cabal that wants to control the world is because we only care about other Jews, and that's, all of this nonsense comes out of these two fundamental ideas. All Jewish property is stolen, and that's because Jews are unfair to everybody else. Well, that was a good year and a half to 2 years before Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez burst on the scene and declared on her infamous NPR interview, she doesn't know anything about the Middle East. She's not the expert in geopolitics on this issue. Despite her degree in international relations, she knows nothing about the Middle East except for two things. Number one is that Israel is occupying land that does not belong to them. They're taking land from the Palestinians. And number two, they're being unfair to the Palestinians and not letting them access their homes.
Wow. We only have 30 seconds left for our talk, Rabbi, and
well, that's a good teaser for the talk. It's like,
yes,
wait a minute. So you're telling me the rabbinic history knew 150 years ago what this lady was going to say.
Right. Well, look forward to your talk and being there, and hopefully you'll be able to expound on all the background and history that you know.
mjac.us for the details. Thank you so much for having me.
Right now, I only have enough time for my parting thought, which is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking and living life with a bright side of aging. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Our mission is to interview successful entrepreneurs who are willing to share with us their ideas and experiences, both the successes and the failures. Because as it has been jokingly said, you should learn from the mistakes of others because you'll never live long enough to make them all yourself. My name is Ike Engelbaum, and I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, which is a group of motivated people that are all interested in helping each other and achieving our personal and professional goals. Please check out our website, entrepreneursnetworkofmichigan.com, for meeting schedule as well as self-improvement material. Our philosophy is that if it's to be, it's up to me. When it's time to move, don't trust all your memories and most prized possessions to just some guys with a truck. Get personalized first-class treatment from bonded and experienced moving professionals. If you're confused about all the details involved in moving from one household to another, call 1-888-489-8980. Is always the concern of who should I call about the utilities? How shall I handle my household appliances? What should I do about my pets? What do I need to handle in advance of the move? For a free brochure titled Practical Hints to Make Moving Day Easier, call Aberdeen Van Lines at 1-888-489-8980. We can even help you in selling your home or any furniture that you may no longer wish for your next move. Let Aberdeen help make your move a dream. So call 1-888-489-8980 now.
If you need a helping hand to stay at home, or maybe you'd like somebody to provide transportation or grocery shopping or run errands for you, or maybe you're going to need help with bathing or personal grooming, or you need home renovations to enable you to stay in that home safely and securely. Or maybe you can't leave your home, but you need somebody to come in and do things like a doctor, a nurse, a podiatrist, a dentist, or to have your prescriptions delivered to you. Well, House Calls on Wheels is the answer to all of that. House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. And all the medical services are covered by insurance. The non-medical services start as low as $10 an hour. So if you or someone you know needs a helping hand at home, call House Calls on Wheels for a free in-home consultation. And that toll-free number is 1-888-489-8980. All right? That's 1-888-489-8980.
Yes, and you can always log on to our meetup.com/entrepreneursnetwork of Michigan, or make it easy if you want to join us tomorrow morning or every Thursday morning for the foreseeable future. And I hope you see your future, because that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You know the present pretty well, I assume. If you look around, there is the great philosopher Yogi Berra once said, if you look at something long enough, you actually begin to see something. Well, guess what? America, despite our politicians, who really, I think, could be best described as thinking like teenagers instead of adults. And ironically enough, almost all of them have got either teenagers and some have grandsons, but they're thinking in terms of, how do I outdo my opponent in the Republican or the Democratic Party, depending on which side of the aisle, as they say, instead of really being concerned about the citizens of America. And the good news is that we still have our capital system where you actually can be the best you can be and be as rich as you want to be, depending on how much work that you want to put in. Most ridiculous remark that I heard as recently as yesterday was one politician who was saying that it's immoral that you want to be a billionaire, that somehow it's not appropriate. Guess what? It's the people that gain wealth in this wonderful country that give back to the needy. And that's why we have our Entrepreneur Network International now. We expanded. We still maintain the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, but we're branching out. And tomorrow morning and every Thursday morning, for free, I might add, from 9:15 to 10:30, join us at Level 1 Bank, 37100 Woodward, southeast corner of Woodward and Big Beaver. That's in Bloomfield Hills. We have free coffee, free snacks, and we have great speakers. And we are surrounding ourselves with some top-notch, talented people that have not only done well for themselves, but are willing to share. And one of the premier sales trainers in the country, maybe I'm not quite sure about the whole world, but I know in the United States of America and Canada, Don Zavis is an award-winning sales and international and keynote speaker, and he is actually now in a warmer climate than we are today, but with the magic of technology, we can be in touch because Don Zavis, who is a creative entrepreneur, is now out there in Tucson, Arizona, and he is shaking it all up down there, and we are able, because of technology, to be online with him. In fact, Don Zavis has a Business Builder Light program. Light, like not a heavyweight. Is there any reason why we can't call it heavyweight program, Mr. Don Zavis?
Well, actually, and thank you. By the way, I was going to tell you that it's going to be in the high 60s today. I'm looking out my office.
Oh, you poor baby.
blue skies, not a star in the sky, or excuse me, not a cloud in the sky. So, but I will tell you that we still certainly have our presence in Michigan. I have a very substantial client base in Michigan. And no matter where I roam, Michigan will always be home.
Hey,
so
we can use that as a tagline. Well,
I've been waiting to use that. When I talk to somebody back in Michigan. Actually, what you're looking at, our Business Builder is one of our primary programs. And what we found, there's an adage that we talk about in sales training, in sales coaching, was make the sale that can be made. Mm-hmm. And essentially what that means is that if you only have one offering, whether it's the price or the service or whatever you have, if you've only got one, then there's always kind of a struggle in trying to find the perfect thing for the perfect person. So we built our Business Builder Light program for those clients that maybe didn't need a lot of intensive coaching, but just wanted more of an online presence. They wanted to watch the live broadcast. They wanted to go to our Vimeo channel and see those. So that's kind of how it got started, and that's why we talk about our Business Builder Light. Interestingly enough, actually, one of the things I was hoping to be able to talk about today was really something that has been in the last 5 years of development that I really think is applicable to your studio audience or to your audience that you have there. Mm-hmm. Should I just kind of jump into it?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Well, I've been in professional sales training and coaching since 2005. Prior to that, I used to buy and sell companies. And that involved kind of a variety of things, but I always kind of looked, even when I was in the buying and selling of businesses, really my forte was in business development, how to improve sales, get more revenue in, those types of things. So moving into sales training in a structured basis was really kind of a natural thing for me. And what I found was that there were certain attributes, there were certain aspects of behaviors. And we often talk about behaviors in terms of the idea that, you can't control who buys, right? You can't arm wrestle somebody to the ground and force them to sign on the dotted line. But you do control the behaviors that create a buying environment. So what we've done over these past couple of years, since 2005, is look at the behaviors that have been reoccurring, right? The things that I find that everybody has, and we've really distilled them down to three behaviors, three areas. Although these areas are very broad and have lots of moving parts in them, they're still kind of clumped into three areas. And we live in this microwave world, right? People want to take a pill to lose weight. And, I saw something on television last week on one of the infomercials that said, lose belly fat. All you got to do is take this pill, and you don't have to work out. You don't have to watch what you eat. And, and the belly fat will just kind of, melt away while you sleep. Now, I'm not a doctor, but that seems like almost like it's too good to be true. But we live in this kind of microwave-ish world that really wants those things to take place. So we've identified three areas that really all successful people have tapped into in order to develop more revenue and more sales. The first thing is we call them the three investments. The first investment is what we call health and wellness. Now, I am not a health or wellness guru by any stretch. I'm a sales trainer and sales coach. But what we realize is that you are the engine that drives your success. If you tire easily, if you have no energy, if you find that you're really not getting out in the world and going to the networking events of the type of nature that you just mentioned a moment ago. And most people, when they don't do those types of things, they cite low energy. So one of the first of the three investments is that health and wellness. You are your engine. And if your engine is not operating at 110%, and again, obviously it's going to be weighted by how old you are, medical issues, things like that. But most people are so energy deficient that they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, they are surprised when they don't have a successful selling environment. Right? We call it See the People, STP. And it talks about being out in the world. And there's a training adage that says, if you're sitting across the desk from somebody who's not going to write you a check, don't be there. You got to be out. Every dollar that you've ever gotten, you got from somebody else. So you probably want to be out in the world where those someone else's are to try to take advantage of those opportunities. So that was the first investment, was health and wellness, and I know that's something that you really profess yourself there, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, being a pharmacist, unfortunately with radio you can't see me since I don't have the cameras on, I'm nodding in agreement in a positive way. To implement that at our Entrepreneurs Network meetings, we have a wheel of life that we actually have people grade themselves in the very three areas that we'll be able to hopefully get in today, if not on our next visit. Is that, can you imagine, and everyone has that experience, you don't have to be in business. You go to, especially now with the box stores, you have so many people, so few people in the aisles helping, and if you see somebody lethargic and what have you, are you going to buy something that they recommend? But if someone is enthusiastic, and the way they get enthusiastic is you got to take care of yourself. And
absolutely.
So health is absolutely necessary, and that doesn't mean, becoming an addict to become a marathon runner. Just to eat properly and whatever. That's great. What about the next one?
Right. Well, and you're right. Nutrition, exercise, and it's interesting that the tests are irrefutable, and on a daily basis, people are given opportunities to Exercise, and you really don't need to exercise. All you basically need is the ground or a floor, and walk or run, jog, watch what you eat, everything like that. So the first investment is health and wellness. You are the engine. If you are not operating efficiently, you will really, really struggle for any kind of success in the world. Right. The number 2 item is the skills necessary to improve your income. Now, I focus, being a sales trainer and sales coach, my scoreboard is your checkbook. And yet I find that most people, after they get out of college or any type of formal education, really do nothing else to improve their income. They don't take additional training either in sales or coaching, personal development. They don't, get other streams of income. And I recommend for all of my clients to have a minimum of 6 streams of income. That could be a multi-level marketing organization. They could sell real estate on the side. They could be a professional author, write a book. I have a guitar player client of mine that teaches guitar lessons at $35 a half hour. And it's interesting that he tells me that, the $70 an hour he makes is significantly more than he makes from his job, and he's able to do something that he would like. So the second investment is the skills necessary to improve your income. And most people, I believe, are kind of just resolved that where they are is where they are. And that's really kind of a sad commentary, because first and foremost, it's not true. Most people, almost everyone that I meet, I believe, has very special magic. They have that unique thing about them that is very that can be monetized and can be created in such a way where there's an actual dollar value that can be attached to that.
And not to interrupt, but I want to get into more of that. And you talk about streams of income. Streams of income to keep me on the air is to give us is to keep sponsors messages out. And folks, don't be embarrassed. Buy from who you hear as our sponsors, because that's what helps keep me on the air. So by all means, don't just say, "Hey, that was a decent commercial." Buy from them, and that will help me, and I guarantee it will help you. And Don Zavis can help you, aside from helping me, by the thoughts he has in the programs. And I'm really excited about the new year that we're going to be affiliated with your programs. So when we get back from our break, I want you to finish your thoughts in regards to the developing the skills and how to identify them, and even more so, how does one take inventory of their strengths so that they can build on it and improve and minimize their weaknesses. Don't go away. We got a lot more good stuff coming right up. We'll be right back. When it's time to move, don't trust all your memories and most prized possessions to just some guys with a truck. Get personalized first-class treatment from bonded and experienced moving professionals. If you're confused about all the details involved in moving from one household to another, call 1-888-489-8980. Is always the concern of who should I call about the utilities? How shall I handle my household appliances? What should I do about my pets? What do I need to handle in advance of the move? For a free brochure titled Practical Hints to Make Moving Day Easier, call Aberdeen Van Lines at 1-888-489-8980. We can even help you in selling your home or any furniture that you may no longer wish for your next move. Let Aberdeen help make your move a dream. So call 1-888-489-8980 now. I'm pleased to announce that I've teamed up with Leeway Foundation, which is a non-profit organization devoted to helping the whole system of growing churches through health education, as well as prayer, as well as helping dozens of physical, spiritual needs for members that cannot attend the church. I like to title it A Church Without Walls. For a nominal fee per month, we now can help you reach out to your members by way of the app. We've customized this mobile app for small churches to form a partnership with a project named God's Warehouses. Now is the time to act if you want your church to grow in membership and increase church revenue. Please call 1-888-489-8980. Again, if you would like to have your church become larger and more self-sufficient, call 888-489-8980 for details. And we're back with Don Zavis, who is a national and a recognized trainer, and I want to give you a new opportunity for those listening that are of the entrepreneurial spirit. As I mentioned, tomorrow morning and every Thursday, 9:15 to 10:30, we have a free coffee cloche, so to speak, because we have free snacks as well. 9:15 to 10:30 Thursday mornings. Your time will be well spent, and we'll give you some phenomenal opportunities to really surround yourself with entrepreneurs in Michigan. We meet at the bank, which is located at 37100 Woodward, southeast corner of Big Beaver and Woodward, and it's free to attend. And guess what? Don hopefully will be calling in while we're there, and maybe put him on speakerphone so you can hear his words of wisdom. So I'm really excited about it. But until we get that done, and you want to hear more about Don Zavis, Don, you have a complete up and running program right now, as I understand, every Friday morning. Is that correct?
We do, actually. As I mentioned earlier, I have clients not only throughout the United States, but actually throughout the world. Mm. And because of that, obviously in the advent of the Internet and all of those, the applications and online and such like that, about 3 years ago, we wanted to develop a very simple, very easily accessible online tool that was inexpensive enough for the average person to be able to take advantage of it, but deep enough in terms of the content and the value that it was something that they could really, really get. It was really something that would work well for them. So we do offer an online program. So let me give you a little bit of the details. So we generate the program actually from here in Tucson. It's 9 o'clock Tucson time till 10:30, and that's every Friday. And it's offered in a couple of different applications. It's first and foremost offered as a live broadcast online. So the clients that we have would actually go into, they would be given a link to go to and a password that's attached to the link. And then they would be able to watch it online live as it happens here in Tucson. Obviously, it's going to be adjusted for the time. So 9 o'clock in Tucson, of course, at this point in time would be 11 o'clock in Michigan before the time change. For those that are not available for the live broadcast, so maybe they've got a client that they're with or something that they're doing where they were not able to be there for the live broadcast, we also have a Vimeo channel, and every Friday session is also recorded. So they can access it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, any place on the face of the earth as long as they have access to the Internet. And again, that's a very simple link, which is password protected, and then that gives them that access. Now, the nice thing about our Vimeo channel is we actually have sessions going all the way back until March of 2016. Ah. So for those that are getting involved with one of our programs, they now have essentially an hour and a half session going all the way back. So there's hundreds of hours of sessions that will be available towards them. And we do that for a very, very economical $50 a month. There's no contract. There's no obligation. There's nothing. People can, it's kind of like a Ferris wheel. Some people start and stop as they need it, or they'll go into the archives and maybe pick out some certain very particular sessions that they would like. And then they would be able to review those sessions, and they would kind of build up those skills. So if you have an issue related to prospecting or getting referrals or closing the sale, they're all easily identified, and we have these going back again through all the way to March of 2016.
Wow. Now, the sessions that you have are actually with a specific topic, or tell us what people can expect.
Sure. Well, there are three main pillars that all of my training focuses around, which is attitude, behavior, and technique. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it in terms of what that is, so you'll think of it in terms of technique. I can give you the words. I can tell you what to say, right? I can say, do this. In this situation, here's the way to handle it. The problem being is I can't give you the cojones to say it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I want to be able to make sure that you do these as consistent behaviors. So everything is based on attitude, behavior, and technique. So each one of the sessions is built around one of these particular pillars. Mm-hmm. Now, it's also all based on human dynamics. And human dynamics is kind of like understanding that people will respond to a certain stimulus a certain way. So, for example, if you're in a quiet room and somebody accidentally drops a heavy book on the library floor and it makes a big bang and everybody jumps. It's kind of that same situation. And if you understand how people are likely going to respond given a certain situation, then you can prepare for it. So whether they say yes or they say no or kind of whatever they do, you can prepare for it. And it's almost, borders on psychiatry and psychology, although we're actually applying it to sales. It's still really an understanding of how people think and react.
Yes, well, there is psychology involved in the sales process. In fact, one of the best books I came across is The Psychology of Sales. So,
yes.
And this is really something that I'm really excited about being involved because you do these weekly online broadcasts. Now,
yes.
You also have a monthly conference call?
We do. In fact, the particular program that we're talking about actually is multifaceted. So not only do we do the live broadcast as well as the Vimeo broadcast, the recording of the broadcast, we also do a monthly current events conference call. And the unique thing about that, and that's why I say current events, which is different because it really talks about the circumstances that you're in right now. So let me give you an example of what's better an illustration. Right now, only a small percentage of the population actually participates in the stock market. More people don't participate in the stock market than do participate in the stock market. However, if the stock market takes a giant plunge, even though you yourself may not necessarily have any money at risk, you may have not lost any money, or if it goes up, you may not have gained any money, but you'll feel less rich. You'll feel less confident about the marketplace, even though you yourself have not really been injured or benefited in any way. Mm-hmm. So we talk about the current events that are out there. The current events, it could be the political climate. Certainly it's going to be the economic climate. There are certain aspects of it which are chronological. So if you're in a business that is uniquely positioned to take advantage of Christmas opportunities, you may have other scenarios, for example, where maybe we talk about things that you should be doing towards the end of the year. Mm-hmm. We call it closing our selling year. Mm-hmm. Then there are other aspects about it, how you should open your year. What should you be doing to start the year off right? Mm-hmm. We call that opening your selling year. So each session is uniquely identified in lieu of a particular either chronological situation. Again, it could be economic, but it's the things that are happening in your current events.
Wow.
The adage that we say is you do not sell in a vacuum.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And unfortunately, we're going to have to continue our conversation on our next visit. And by all means, please join us for our breakfast get-togethers Thursday. It's free. I can't stress how important it is. And you, I'm sure, will concur, Don, of networking. We are Entrepreneurs
absolutely.
Network International.
Yep.
Right now, I got to leave our audience with my favorite parting thought, which is, if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.
WNZK has available